Oh, we're still rolling. Hi! How's it going, humans? And welcome to the continuation of the studio renovation. On the last episode, we did some stuff with electrical. Oh no, gone forever. And paint, and it was all sorts of fun. But this time we're back in the shop, we're making some cabinets, and are they gonna have a secret? I don't know. Maybe. So I have to be honest, this bookcase, cabinet, whatever you want to call it, doesn't have any secrets. No, I know, it doesn't. But that doesn't mean it's not going to be a fun build. So stick around, and at the end, I'll link the secret bookcases if you want to go and watch those. So the plan for this build is pretty simple. Now I know I say that every time, but I don't know, it's probably a lie. This is not simple. It just looks that way because of editing. And let me tell you, I have 8 hours of footage that I filmed on this, and we'll see how long this video ends up being in the end. So the first step here is to get my 4 side panels cut out, and they're not just a straight shape, because I didn't want them to be just a straight shape, apparently. I wanted to be confusing, and have this nice right angle in the middle, which was fun. But at the end of the day, my track saw and a flush cut saw made short work of cutting these bad boys out, and to make sure that they were all the right size at the end, ended up just laying them on top of each other and trimming them flush with a router. So with all my side panels cut out, the next thing I needed to do was figure out how I was going to attach the top and bottom and this middle shelf. Now, I have had this pocket hole jig for I don't know how many years. So many years. I didn't buy it. Someone gave it to me. And I thought maybe I would try pocket holes for the first time ever. Never used a pocket hole. You see people lining it up with the edge. And just I use this. And a drill. Alright. I do. I don't know how deep I go. How deep? How do you know how deep? Is there a collet? Oh, probably need this collet. Okay. I could read the instructions. That seems silly. Take that. Haha! Like that. It's probably gonna go too deep. Sometimes you just go too deep. Yeah, it logically makes sense, right? I don't know what all those pieces are for. All right, let's see what happens. Oh, it's kind of a pocket hole. Okay. Well, let's do one more. We have pocket holes. Now, in theory, is this painful? How painful is this for some of you? 1 inch. 1.25 inches. I love how long this is. That's what she said. Huh, pocket hole. Well, that didn't, I probably should have clamped that. That didn't work that well. I don't know, is it worth it? I don't know. So I know I'm probably gonna catch some hate for this, but I just don't know about pocket holes. Maybe they're just not for me, or maybe I just don't know what I'm doing and should watch a YouTube video and learn how to use pocket holes properly. But we don't have any time for that right now because we have to get on with this build. So the next thing I did was take my plywood sheet and cut down my top, bottom, and middle shelf. So with those cut down, I was able to clamp the entire thing together, and I just ran screws straight in through the outside. Just straight through the cabinet, straight into the shelf, straight into the top, and in the bottom. That's what happened. Now before you get too worried about seeing screw holes or anything like that, just remember, all of this is going to be faced with poplar and then painted. You're never going to know the screws are there. It also means you're never going to be able to take the screws out. So it's kind of like permanent. Yeah. But why wouldn't it be? It's a built-in cabinet. It should be permanent. So the next thing I did was add these little nailing strips. So these are going to serve multiple purposes. They're going to help keep the cabinet square. They're going to give me somewhere to screw the cabinet to the wall when it gets installed, so it doesn't do a little tippy-tippy thing. And I learned a big lesson with these. And that lesson was, one, how to lift the cabinet and not bonk things on my shop, which meant I had to flip the clamps around. And secondly, that this pre-finished plywood glue doesn't stick to it. So I ended up having to throw some screws where the clamps were anyways, because the glue just fell off. So, learning. So with one cabinet done, I put together the second one really quick.
Boom.
And now the next thing to do was work on this topper cross-section cabinety thingamadoo. It's a technical term. Thingamadoo. You can look it up. I promise. It's in the dictionary. Next to a picture of my name. See? Told you. You don't believe me. So the first step in making the cross-section thingamadoo was to mill down about 50 board feet of poplar. Now I don't know where the footage of me actually throwing it through the thickness planer and getting it milled up went, but now I have a lot of little pieces of poplar, and the first thing that I'm gonna do is make these interior dividers. So with those all cut down to shape, I was able to throw a piece of plywood successfully by myself through the table saw. And I don't recommend this. I've done this before, and it was not recommended then, and it is not recommended now. But if you do this successfully, you are obligated to do a little happy dance. So with the plywood all cut down to size for the interior panels on the upper cabinety thingamadoo and the doors, actually, the little cabinet doors, the next thing I got to do was use a Festool tool. It's a domino thing, but not like the fun dominoes that you get to like knock over. I guess you could knock these over, but like a really expensive like single purpose tool. One of those things. So I didn't buy this. I wasn't given it. I borrowed it. And let me tell you, I gave it back. Not only because I'm a little afraid of the person I borrowed it from, but also because I was a little underwhelmed with what it did. Now again, this could just be me not knowing how to use the tool, but I found the tolerance to be really tight, and I had to trim down some of the dominoes. So again, you're probably watching this and you know what you're doing in life and woodworking, and you're like, well, dude, if you just flip this switch, it would do a better job and put it in looser. But I didn't know where that switch was, if there is that switch. So anyways, I got to do dominoes. I also got to steal Bourbon Moth's patented hip thrust technique, which was pretty sexy. I'm not gonna lie. It made me feel good inside and out, and like a real true woodworker. So with the dominoes all installed, I then raced the clock with my glue ups. And with the glue set, some of the keen-eyed viewers among you might notice these little holes that I left when I ran my dados through. So I cut up some little plugs, hammered them in, and you're never gonna see them. Again, because we're painting this, you'll never know they're there. So once the glue had dried on everything, I broke out Herbert, and he got to work making sure everything was all nice and smooth. He's such a good worker. Now with everything sanded, the next thing to do was cut down and make the carcass cabinet, the cabinet topper thingamadoo. So all I did for this is cut my plywood to size, and with my end piece all squared and in place, I just screwed it all together. Now, the end pieces, as you see, they don't have an interior panel, and this is by design, as they're gonna sit directly against the side upper cabinets, and they don't need a panel because the outside of the cabinet is gonna look like the panel. Yeah, see, you'll see, don't worry, I'll show you later. So thanks for checking out this video. I hope you learned a thing or two about what tools you can use and should use and maybe use and don't use. I know I did. On the next episode, we're going to attach all of this poplar. We're also going to start priming and painting. So come back for that and see how these cabinets turn out. Hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time.